Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Ram. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Kate Mataji, for your wonderful kirtan. Hare Krishna, everyone, and welcome to His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj's 72nd Vyasa Puja celebration. We are very grateful to you for attending. Now that we are all here, let's take the opportunity to remind ourselves about the significance of Vyasa Puja celebrations. Aditya, what is the importance of Vyasa Puja?
There is no difference between hearing directly from Krishna and hearing directly from a bona fide spiritual master, like Vyasa. The spiritual master is a representative of Vyasadeva also. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, on the birthday of the spiritual master, the disciples conduct a ceremony called as Vyasa Puja. On Vyasa Puja day, we try to understand our unimaginable good fortune for being connected with such a guru. He not only carried the message of Srila Prabhupada, but showed us how to live it. Guru Maharaj continues to personally lead us from this world of darkness to a world of eternal light. We give thanks for his boundless compassion and never-ending efforts to save us. I would now call on Meera to present Guru Maharaj's milestones.
His Holiness Devamrita Swami was born and grew up in New York, Manhattan. He was brought up by a very devoted Christian family who had been praying to God to give her a spiritual child that would devote a life in God's mission. As we know now, those prayers certainly came to be true. Growing up, he was a very bright child, which led him to acquire several scholarships, among which he chose the Yale University. As he completed his studies at Yale, he was intrigued by the history of the world. And the way he puts it humorously is, one thing we see by reading the history of the world is that nobody learns any lessons by the history of the world. After a few discussions with his faculty heads, he embarked on the journey of finding a solution for world problems. Ironically, during the end of his graduation at the Yale, Maharaj encountered Srila Prabhupada's books and studied them in depth and detail. 1972 was the year that he finally joined the Brooklyn Temple, and in 1974, Maharaj got initiated by Srila Prabhupada. After devoting a significant part of his youth to book distribution and even penetrating into the Iron Curtain with truckloads of Srila Prabhupada's books, he later went on to take up several essential roles in the BBT. In the year 1992, His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj took his sannyas ashram vow, and in the year 2002 became an initiating spiritual master in ISKCON. He has since been a traveling monk, teacher, and author of several books, amongst which his book entitled Hiding in Unnatural Happiness has sold more than 500,000 copies. It provides quite an interesting prelude to one of the most world-renowned sacred book, the Bhagavad Gita. By the way, I use it a lot during my book distribution, as it's a very handy instrument in opening up a discussion with the contemporary world. He is quite renowned for his cutting-edge discussions such as matrix of illusion, spiritual economics, and intergenerational tyranny. His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. I will now invite Aditya to read our Guru Maharaj's offerings to Srila Prabhupada.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, I offer my deeply considered obeisances to your lotus feet, the treasury of boundless bhakti. For my offering this year, I would like to focus upon your breathtaking devotion to Krishna's service and pleasure. Finally, I have started to more profoundly see that your spiritual attributes such as intelligence, strategizing, determination and tolerance all spontaneously manifests from your dedication to pleasing Krishna's senses. Therefore, whatever you do and however you do it is always mesmerizing. How much you love Krishna through the parampara, I can't, of course, ever fathom. As written in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 2.49. Unalloyed love of Krishna is like an ocean of happiness. If someone gets one drop of it, the whole world can drown in that drop. It is not benefiting to express such love of Godhead. Yet, a madman must speak, but even through his speaks, no one believes him. As I endeavor to grasp the fullness of every word and As I endeavor to grasp the fullness of every word and action, I must confess, at some point, maybe far along in the analysis, I will hit an inbuilt epistemological limitation, as both the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu declare. Even the most learned man cannot understand the word, activities and symptoms of a person situated in love of Godhead. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 23.39. Like a child seeks to touch the moon, I desire to understand as much about loving Krishna as the transcendental system allows. I am sure that by my humble and selflessly serving at your lotus feet, a glimpse of that real love will be mine and shared with others. But my dear sir, I am obliged to you because now I understand that this material manifestation is without substance, although it appears real. I am confident that by serving your feet, I will be able to give up that false idea. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.7.18. What more though? By serving the feet of the spiritual master, one is able to develop transcendental ecstasy in the service of the personality of Godhead, who is the unchanging enemy of the Madhu demon, and whose service vanquishes one's material distress. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.7.19. Aspiring to plumb the depths of your divine service, your insignificant servitor Devamrita Swami. My sheet. The first disciple who we would like to invite on stage is a Prabhu who has recently had an interest in learning how to play the kartals. He had a tough start and started learning on how to play the Damodar Ashtakam on the kartals. And from where he started, he has had a great progress and is doing very well. I would now like to invite Janmashtami Prabhu on stage to present his offering to Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisance at the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you on your most auspicious Vyasa Puja day. Thank you for accepting me as your disciple and teaching me what is the purpose of this life. How can I show my gratitude towards you, Gurudev? When I was thinking about showing my gratitude, I can only think about Uddhava prayer, Bhagavatam 11.29.6. My dear Lord, even if someone lives as long as Brahma, he would still be unable to express his gratitude to you for the benefits derived from remembering you. Out of your costless mercy, you drive away all inauspicious conditions for your devotee, expressing yourself from outside as the spiritual master and from inside as the super soul. Gurudev, with my contaminated mind and senses, I can never repay you for what you have given to me. As Puru Maharaj says in Bhagavatam 9.18.43, O Majesty Lord, O your Majesty Lord, who in this world can repay his debt to his father? By the mercy of his one's father, one gets the human form of life, which can enable one to become associate of the Supreme Lord. In that purport, Srila Prabhupada beautifully established the importance of spiritual father as everyone gets a father and mother. But if one gets the benediction of Krishna and Guru, he can conquer the material nature and return home back to Godhead. Gurudev, please shower your mercy upon me so your useless servant can get rid of unlimited, unwanted, lusty desires and develop some taste for devotional service at your lotus feet. Gurudev, always I cherish the tiny moment which happened to serve you during your last visit. As stated in Bhagavatam, the value of moment association with the devotees of the Lord cannot be compared to attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter. Gurudev, how happy you are when I said I read Srila Prabhupada books and read such books so far. You are encouraging me to read more books and giving me more your blessings to read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you, Gurudev. Gurudev, Sri Kavi says in Bhagavatam 11.2.37, one should accept his spiritual master as worshipable deity, as his very life and soul, and engage in unalloyed devotional service under his guidance. However, as Prahlad Maharaj says, this Vimukha Chetasa, Srila Prabhupada translates as fools and rascals who are bereft of strict Krishna consciousness has done anything for the instructions which you gave to me. I can only think myself as Puru Maharaj says in 9.18.44, a son who refuses his father's order is like his father's tool. Gurudev, for the instruction you asked me to start somewhere. Gurudev, I have not done anything. I was foolishly thinking, yes, Guru Maharaj said I can do it. Thank you so much for teaching me that I cannot do anything without your mercy. I am begging you to give me the strength, intelligence, knowledge. Please guide me so that I can start somewhere. Gurudev, on these most auspicious days, this more fallen than most fallen servant begging you for your mercy to keep me in the shades of your lotus feet.
Next, we have a devotee who is always busy in service whenever you see him. I would like to invite Ishwareshwar Prabhu to come and read his offering.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my prostrate obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to your most auspicious appearance day. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. The occasion of writing an offering always serves as a reminder and direct proof of how eager the Supreme Lord and eternal best friend, Krishna, is to see his devotees glorified. In that, through the mercy descending via the Guru Parampara, he inspires even someone who is otherwise simply miserly absorbed in his insignificant life. This feeling of immediate upliftment of our consciousness gives us a tiny hint of how it must be for someone completely absorbed in spreading Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's message. Guru Maharaj, this quality of yours, Prachari Purva Dakshamcha, always particularly amazes me, a skill which cannot be acquired by the greatest scholarship, expertise in poetry or any other mundane considerations, but is rather purely awarded by Krishna to someone who is eager and qualified to receive it. That is, simply humbly acting as a mouthpiece of the previous acharyas in this disciplic succession without desiring any credit for oneself. One aspect which strikes me and which exemplifies the fact that the qualities of the spiritual master are reflected in the perfect disciple is that besides the unlimited value of the content of the perfect knowledge being passed down in disciplic succession, also the language, the expert choice of words used by Srila Prabhupada and you, Guru Maharaj, is evidently not from this world. Just as when I sometimes have to pause reading Srila Prabhupada's purports to try to somewhat grasp how ingeniously penetrating a particular point is presented by His divine grace, I sometimes get startled by how brilliantly your words are making it relate to the contemporary context cutting through layers of illusion, yet simultaneously making the conditioned souls laugh at ourselves. I guess these experiences give me some idea of what the great demigods Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva face when trying to understand the sound of Krishna's flute. Guru Maharaj, by your causeless mercy, even someone as heavily contaminated like myself, it's clear that hearing you speak is not at all merely listening to someone speaking something with the hope that maybe that person would mention a few interesting points. Rather, your every talk is a symphony directed by the Supreme Orchestrator, Bhagavan Sri Krishna himself, whom you must have pleased very much through your tireless, selfless service to his most dear devotee, Srila Prabhupada, to always make you choose the transcendentally most potent words. One inconceivably extraordinary transcendental feat of Srila Prabhupada is to write books which explain the topmost knowledge even to the degraded common man of Kali Yuga, while simultaneously churning the hearts of the most advanced devotees with newer and newer nectar. Similarly, you are sharing with devotees your relishing the most confidential topics, as well as conveying the basics of spiritual knowledge to complete newcomers in an ever-fresh, fascinating way. Guru Maharaj, even in your preaching itself, there's aside from prachar also achar. For instance, by your repeatedly explaining topics such as Lord Balaram's bewilderment in Brahma Vimohan Lila, or Gopakumara's traveling throughout the various spheres of existence, you are exhibiting how Krishna Katha is ever fresh and in fact ever increasing in bliss and relish. And of course, simply seeing your loving, caring and humble dealings with everyone, and especially with your godbrothers, such as Shivaram Maharaj, give us this demonstration of ideal Vaishnava behavior. Guru Maharaj, out of your compassion, you have been putting great effort in teaching us, inspiring us to acquire the skill of discerning Maya from Krishna, even and especially in the practice of Krishna consciousness. While neophytes tend to prefer hearing only Krishna Lila rather than about the power of the material energy, you demonstrated through the example of Maharaj Nimi that pure devotees are also anxious to hear about and thoroughly understand Krishna's illusory potency. He explained emphatically how the rebellious souls of the material world are so proud of wielding their so-called independence and making all the various choices in their life completely ignorant of the fact that in and to all such choices they're simply pushed by the material energy according to the modes they are conditioned by. And on the bigger picture, how we are operated upon by the Lord's illusory potency, which is one of these brilliant choices of words of Srila Prabhupada. In other words, that we are oblivious to the reality of not only getting shoved around by Maya in this lifetime, but are kicked out of the present body and forced into another one out of the 8.4 million species on any place within the material cosmos. The famous and simple way out of this mess is surrender to the controller of this material energy, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as Krishna declares himself in Bhagavad Gita 7.14. Yet, despite having the great fortune of having received this kind of transcendental knowledge, at least in theory, I am still foolishly trying to maneuver through the Lord's bewitching energy instead of fully surrendering. Thus, I cling my hope to a verse spoken by Vidura to Maitreya Rishi, which you beautifully explained. Artabhavam vinishchitya pratitasya pinatmanaha tam chapi yoshmacharana sevayaham paranade. But my dear sir, I am obliged to you because now I can understand that this material manifestation is without substance, although it appears real. I am confident that by serving your feet it will be possible for me to give up the false idea. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.7.18. In the succeeding verse, Vidura further states that service to the feet of the spiritual master not only frees one from Maya, but also enables one to develop transcendental ecstasy in the service of the personality of Godhead. Guru Maharaj, I am praying to Lord Nrsimhadev to keep your body in good health and thereby allowing us for many more years to be able to directly see your lotus feet, which are the only hope for wretched souls like myself. Your unworthy servant, Ishvara Das.
This devotee has always been very committed and sincere from the very start. She is always eager to do service and her heart is full of gratitude. Can I please request Meru Devi Mataji to read her offering?
Dear most Guru Maharaj, kindly accept my deepest and most respectful obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Sri Gurudev, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Parampara. Hare Krishna, my dear God brothers and sisters, I beg for your blessings so that I can express my heartfelt gratitude to my dear Father and put my emotions into right words. When I started writing down my offerings, I was very confused where to start, because how can unlimited mercy of my dear Gurudev can be put into words. I wrote and wiped several times because every time I felt unsatiated, but finally I tried to join some of my realizations and gratitude to make a garland of your glorification, my dear Gurudev. Dear most Guru Maharaj, how can I verbalize my emotions and gratitude that you gave place to a worm of stool at your lotus feet? Arjuna said in Bhagavad Gita that mind is stronger than wind. But my spiritual father is expert in controlling not only his mind, but his children's as well. During initiation, Gurudev, you gave me such a beautiful name, Meru Devi Devi Dasi. This name is so close to my heart because my dear father has given this name to me. And I wish I could use my spiritual name everywhere and everyone calls me by this name. But Gurudev, during initiation, you, knowing that my mind was saying something else, mercifully explained to me that don't worry, I will read about this incarnation in Canto 5. Gurudev, mind is so strong that it did not leave me and tried its best to force me to think that now I will never be able to hear the holy name of Krishna because my spiritual name belongs to another loka, not Krishna loka. Then I was feeling so sad and helpless and prayed to you and asked for forgiveness. As a loving mother immediately responds to a painful cry of the child, Gurudev, you are so merciful that you immediately replied to my email and pacified my heart in a moment. And your pure words smashed my mind in a fraction of a second to protect your child. Your mercy is incomparably higher than any stubborn dirt that any mind can have. Gurudev, your transcendental care is beyond insignificant words. I remember your statement that a father's mind goes with the daughters in their in-laws' house after marriage. Your heart goes with every daughter everywhere, whether in father's house or husband's house. Earlier, I used to think if we chant the same holy name, then what does it makes a difference after initiation? But now I started to realize that now my leash is in my eternal Father's hand. He has unlimited care, which is impossible to measure with this material tongue. After initiation, whenever due to my past inclination to anger, greed, envy, fear and pride, I am carried away by my mind and try to stretch the leash of my neck, which is in your hands, Gurudev. You collaboratively with Krishna put me into a bad situation, then your instructions through your lectures or your representatives smash my mind and make me realize your instructions more and more deeply every time. That's how you control my mind in an extremely inconceivable way. Dear Father, the association and causeless of pure Vaishnava is unlimitedly potent, and I can realize a lot of change in my consciousness. Not only this, Gurudev, in the personal darshan in last December, you had asked about my elder son whether he chants, where is he? Why didn't he come with us? Gurudev, earlier he was almost averse to the Krishna consciousness, but after you had shown concern for him, I could see incredible change in his consciousness, that after 10 days of my personal darshan, he came to me and asked, Mom, why it happens that we get never satisfaction, and also he asked why it is so that everyone desires their appreciation. Gurudev, although he was not present during personal darshan, just your words of care for him made an unbelievable change in his consciousness, because I never saw him meditating on serious questions earlier. Also that now he wants to chant, read and listen lectures of Vaishnavas. This impact is inconceivable. Same was on younger son. I always wanted him to do chanting and reading, but after personal darshan, he is so determined to read every day. And Gurudev, your words are eternally truth. You said to me, I will see more and more support of my Prabhu gradually, and I can see a tremendous change in my husband's support in Krishna consciousness. Dear Gurudev, you are expert in putting the spiritual emotions into words. I recently heard from your lectures that bhaktas are destination conscious, which makes them extraordinary. Apart from this, Vani association in form of instructions, doing attentive chanting makes one happy even in most dangerous situation. Guidance is the real wealth in bhakti. Be introspective and be vigilant what's happening in the heart. Have become my life and soul. These are my most precious jewels, and new jewels keep on adding to my treasure every day. So I feel myself the richest with these jewels in the form of your instructions, Gurudev. Gurudev, you are definitely a dear associate of the Supreme and converse with him, and your causeless mercy is of more than inconceivable. When in the interview before initiation you said that I can ask any question, then I said, Gurudev, I'm blank at the moment. Your compassionate and jovial smile at this reply touched my heart. And when you asked what my husband says about Krishna consciousness, I said he says that he does not understand the philosophy. Then your glance of unlimited mercy and compassion penetrated straight to the innermost core of my heart. And you said, don't worry, his support will benefit. I was 100% sure that you would reject me because of all varieties of dirt in me, Gurudev, because I was not aware that your causeless mercy is incomparably beyond any disqualification. Your love for Srila Prabhupada is always so motivating that it overwhelms my heart whenever I see how you explain his deepest mood in so jovial way, and your transcendental laughter used in Gauranga's service make me feel more surrendered at your lotus feet. I always get overwhelmed by seeing your commitment and love for Srila Prabhupada and his mission, that in this age also you are so enthusiastic to help others. I beg you, dear Gurudev, so that I can develop a tiny drop of that love for you and Krishna. Last but not the least, thank you so much, Gurudev, for providing such a beautiful God family. Your elder children have inherited the qualities from their father. Every time when I fall, then your dear obedient daughter, your representative, Her Grace Gopi Premamrita Devi Dasi, gives her loving and caring hand and pulls me out. I never knew of beautiful depth of these spiritual and eternal relations. गुरु गोविंद दोनों खड़े काके लागो पाए, बलिहारी गुरु आपने दी गोविंद दियो दिखाए. After I came to Krishna consciousness, I heard the glories of the spiritual master from devotees. But Gurudev, I started realizing this verse in real sense after I received a place. But Gurudev, I started realizing this verse in real sense after I received a place at your lotus feet, that all of my understanding about God was mere speculation. I also remember I pleaded with you for mercy that I could hear the holy name. Then you stressed on the word practice. Since then, Gurudev, your mercy has been wiping out the wax of spiritual years gradually. I realized Krishna can never be known without the mercy of the spiritual master. I see Krishna in the form of your mercy, my dear father. I have also realized, Gurudev, I don't know anything about Krishna, but I feel deep inner joy glorifying you. Gurudev, I was not contented fully after glorifying you on the last Vyasa Puja, nor am I today, because a worm of stool cannot understand and glorify the depth of qualities of a royal king, however and whatever it may try. Again, my heart is not satisfied after glorifying you, Gurudev. It is so painful to wind up the glory offerings at your lotus feet, which I wish I could continue forever in each birth. So with heavy heart, I have to conclude my offerings for you, Gurudev. I am pleading for your mercy. Please never reject me. You punish me, chastise me, whatever you desire, but kindly never reject me. I beg you, dear Father, to engage my mind in your service in each and every birth, if you so desire. Your mercy is the only hope for my disease of material desires and fears. I pray Gauranga to keep you in the best of your health so that you continue serving Srila Prabhupada and his mission, completely dependent on your mercy, your helpless daughter, Meru Devi Devidas.
Next, we have a person who has great determination to distribute books and engage in Srila Prabhupada service. As well as that, she has great enthusiasm to participate in Harinam and Sankirtan. Krishna Sangha Mataji, please come to read your offering.
Hare Krishna. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Devamrita Swami iti namine Parchari Parvadaksham cha Bhaktachara Pravinata Partathapi Karunyam Yasya Sarve Chate Nama Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvayacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances at the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you on this special day of your appearance. On this auspicious day, I would like to take the opportunity to humbly submit a few words of glorification in your dust of your lotus feet. Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayati girim yat kripai tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. I offer my respectful obeisances onto my spiritual master, the deliverer of all fallen souls, whose mercy turns the dumb into eloquent speakers and enables the lame to cross the mountains. Guru Maharaj, I am so thankful and grateful for your care and guidance you have shown unto me. Since I have met you, I hope and pray one day I can begin to repay you for all you have given me by becoming a useful servant to you in your mission to save Srila Prabhupada and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Thank you for understanding and being patient with me from your insignificant servant Krishna Sangha Devidasi.
Up next, we have a devotee from Canberra who has come to celebrate Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja with us. I would like to call up Bhavish Prabhu to say his offering. Okay.
This devotee came in contact with devotees in New Zealand and traveled 2,000 miles across the sea to what Guru Maharaj calls the West Island and is now sitting at the feet of Radha Gopinath and serving them. Can Mandarghosh Prabhu please come and read his offering?
Acharya Mataye se Matasara, Tandra Agya Langi Chale se Tahasara. The order of the spiritual master is the active principle in spiritual life. Anyone who disobeys the order of the spiritual master immediately becomes useless. CCRD 12.10. Dear Gurudev, all glories to your divine appearance. As I read through Srila Prabhupada's Mission Impossible instructions to you, your God brothers and sisters, I bow my head again and again to your sincerity and dedication. You have spent years living by and serving the order of your spiritual master. Every time I hear about your glorious engagements in serving Prabhupada's mission, I simply get blown away. Sometimes I wonder how it was possible for you to connect such a deep bond with Prabhupada simply through reading his books. The amount of faith you have in Prabhupada's words and instructions, I cannot even begin to understand with my little intelligence. Rupa Goswami describes in the third text of Upadeshamrita that one should perform devotional service with enthusiasm, determination, and patience. What is enthusiasm? After many decades of reading Prabhupada's books, you still read them as if you are reading them for the first time. No matter where you are, how busy you get, you're always looking to submerge yourself in the words of your spiritual master and treat them like your life and soul. That is enthusiasm. How is it possible for someone like me in his teenage bhakti years to conceive of this? It is not possible at all. Once I remember hearing you say in a class that if we want to unwind after a long day, why don't we read Krishna's pastimes through Prabhupada's books? And here I am, looking for ways to unwind after reading a single Bhaktivedanta purport. Thank you, Gurudev, for always teaching us the proper mood of reading these divine scriptures. When I think about determination, it's hard not to think of your preaching glories. Once in a lecture talking about your early book distribution days, you were saying, although so difficult, you were always determined to love book distribution only because you know Srila Prabhupada loves it. Doing Sankirtan 7 days a week, over 12 hours a day with practically no results can crumble even the top Sankirtan devotees. But not you, Gurudev. How you were able to serve with so much purity and selflessness shows a level of determination that for most people can take years and years to develop, even lifetimes for someone like me. Thank you, Gurudev, for showing us the proper mood of engaging in devotional service. When I think about patience, Gurudev, I get teary. For a quality close to extinction in our current society, you remind us of how to be patient. Your outreach projects are a prime example of it. For years, you have sown the seed of Krishna consciousness in the hearts of many young lost souls through outreach. Just like a hardworking gardener, you work tirelessly through heat and cold, wind and rain, day and night, only to nourish us and help us become a strong tree in bhakti. Once during my darshan, I asked you how I can attract more people to our new outreach center in Sydney, to which you simply said, you have to be patient. It took 25 years to get the loft and bhakti lounge going. Gurudev, you go through so many challenges, face so many problems in successfully running these game-changing outreach centers, yet you simply remain patient. Thank you, Gurudev, for showing us all the proper moods proper mood, and being patient with us as we learn to thrive in bhakti. Today, I salute your enthusiasm, determination, and patience. I also seek your causeless mercy in hopes that one day this useless disciple who you have graciously accepted will be able to follow you, worshipping your divine footsteps, aspiring to serve you better. Manda Gostas.
So before we move on, can all the devotees just move forward so there's space for everyone else to sit when they enter? Up next, I'll call up Ghanshyam Prabhu to say a couple of words. As many as you want, Prabhu.
नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण विस्ताय बुतले श्रीमते देवामृत स्वामी नीति नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण विस्ताय बुतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय जगत गुरु शिल प्रभुपाद की जय हिज होलिनेस देवामृत स्वामी व्यास पूजा महोत्सव की जय. Today we have come to glorify one of the dearmost servants of Srila Prabhupada. I remember Dhira Lalita Prabhu. He's in Los Angeles now, distributing a lot of books there. He told me that one of his friends in New Zealand shared with him a dream. And in the dream, the devotee saw Srila Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was praising His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj. And this devotee shared that he is Devamrita Maharaj's disciple. And he said, your spiritual master is also preaching the exact same message which I have given. But he has his own unique style, saying that Prabhupada smiled. That's how the dream finished. So Maharaj has the very unique ability to present profound topics of the Shastras in a way that is more relatable, in a way that's more practical. For any problem, however complex it may be, if you take it to Maharaj, he will always bring us back to the basics. He will ask simple questions. And sometimes we need someone to ask us that. Before joining Krishna consciousness, I used to go through a lot of depression. In fact, that's what brought me to Krishna consciousness. It used to come in cycles. And I used to read articles how to come out of that. I wasn't introduced to Krishna consciousness. So one of the things that generally is advised, especially for people going through depression, is you have to tell to yourself, hear yourself saying that not everything is gloom and doom, things are okay. Some things are out of your control, but it's okay. So you're taught to actually teach yourself that and bring it back to basics. That like, yep, I might have lost in some endeavor. It's fine, I still have food to eat 3 times a day, I still have my job. So you need to say something positive, something that actually works for you, to remind yourself that you are not a total failure. And in Krishna consciousness also, it's very easy for us to forget. We get sometimes so busy in doing service, so busy in practicing Krishna consciousness, that we forget who we are doing all this for, who we are working for, what's the purpose, and what are we trying to achieve. It's very easy to lose goal of that. And Maharaj, every single time you hear his classes or every single time you go to darshan and you share some challenges that you may face, be it in a personal side, be it in the service that you're executing, Maharaj will always bring us back to the basics. How is your chanting going on? Are you reading Srila Prabhupada's books every day? Are you getting enough rest? Simple things. But then, there are many people around us also who ask that questions, but it doesn't appeal to us as much as when Maharaj says. The words carry the potency and we know he means it. Like pure devotees, it is said, when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we chant Hare Krishna, the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, as Srila Prabhupada explains from the Shastras is, O Krishna, O energy of Krishna, supreme energy of Krishna, Hara, please engage me in your service. Now, how many of us in this room can put our hand on our heart and say, actually, every single time I chant, I was begging for service? None of us. In fact, we, first of all, don't mean it. And second, chanting is such a big causer of stress, actually, correct? We feel eternal bliss as soon as we finish 16 rounds. But actually, pure devotees, when they say Hare Krishna, they mean it. They mean, O Krishna, O energy of Krishna, please engage me in your service. It's the same line, but it carries with it the potency. I remember in one of the darshans I had when I was part of the youth group here about 16, 17 years ago. We were part of Spiritual Seekers. Where is Radhikanath Prabhu? Jitendra Prabhu is here. I remember once asking Maharaj, is it possible to see Krishna? He said, yes. But do you have the eyes to see? But he said it in such a way, all of us are very familiar of. When he says that, you know, like, yep, he's seeing through and he knows that we don't have the eyes. Yep, I don't have the eyes to see, and you just walk out. You look stupid many times. So, Maharaj always keep things simple, brings us back to the fundamentals, which is very, very easy for us to lose track of. In one quote which I actually read of Maharaj, Maharaj says, hear the holy name of Krishna attentively. That's trusting Krishna. It's such a succinct way of putting the meaning across, the potency, about the potency of the holy name. Simply hear the holy name of Krishna attentively, that's trusting Krishna. Recently yesterday I read a quote of Srila Prabhupada. Somebody is asking Prabhupada, what does humility mean? So Prabhupada says, humility means to be convinced that nothing in this world, nobody related to me, not my father, mother, partner, family, kids, wealth, job, property, none of this can actually help me. None of this can actually save me. Only Krishna can save me. If somebody realizes that, Prabhupada is saying that is humility. So when we chant Hare Krishna, it's very easy to lose track of why we are doing what we are doing. But we need to bring the focus back to the basics again and again. I remember when I joined the temple, I asked Maharaj, I would like to distribute books, but how can I? I would like to preach to local people. Where should I begin? Maharaj kept it simple and he said, you just play by your strengths. That's it. Whatever that comes natural to you, you just present. And all of us have our audiences. If you preach sincerely, it will appeal to people. And he said something interesting. He said many people in the name of bridge preaching, they will try so many different things. But what's in the other side of the bridge matters, he says, which means it starts somewhere and it can easily get deviated. I heard about the same point later in one lecture, somebody else actually asking him. Reading Srila Prabhupada's books, one devotee asked Maharaj in email, what is the best way to please you? And he replied back saying, what is my desire? Parampara's desire. Srila Prabhupada's desire is my desire. Prabhupada said, distribute books, so that is my desire. And I once emailed Maharaj asking for blessings after a marathon, offering the results for his pleasure. And then Maharaj, very beautifully, he shared his understanding, which is the truth. It's so obvious, but when I was reading it, I was smiling it. I can't help but smile. It's so obvious, but you'll miss it. Because we don't have the eyes to see. Maharaj said, Krishna said, surrender unto me. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, chant Hare Krishna. Same instruction Prabhupada said, distribute books. It's the same instruction. Krishna is saying, surrender unto me. Same Krishna coming as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is saying, chant Hare Krishna. And the Acharya who is coming in the Parampara line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is saying, distribute these books. So Maharaj said, so distribute these books. 4 sentences, that was it. Reply straight. I always say this. I was even telling quite a few of you, God brothers and God sisters who are assembled here, you send any mail to Maharaj regarding Sankirtan, you will get an immediate reply. You don't need to wait for long. Always. I get within 2 hours. Anything, anywhere, sometimes you see time zone even won't matter. Sometimes I think, it's like Maharaj must be meditating on books so much. He taught us how to learn to love reading Srila Prabhupada's books. He taught us, he uses this word, fresh. You have heard this term so many times, even in subway, eat fresh. You go to any supermarket, you will see, eat fresh. When Krishna and Balaram, when they rescued the son, the only son of Sandipani Muni, and when they bring the son to Sandipani Muni accepted the Guru Dakshina of Krishna and Balaram, and then he blesses Krishna and Balaram. Bhagavatam says he blessed them that whatever you speak, whatever you say will always remain fresh. I sometimes think Maharaj's words also carry that freshness so much so that he also has received that boon, being such a strict follower of Srila Prabhupada's instructions. His voice will be fresh, the way how he presents will be fresh. Those of us here who are preachers, usually our energy level curve will go like this. Sometimes it won't even take off. But for Maharaj, you will see, from the word go, it will go there and then keep on going. Many times we have all witnessed, he would be giving class, he would speak, he would look at the clock, another 2 minutes, he'll again start a point and he'll make it. Sometimes you will try speaking something in the class, building it up, thinking, okay, I will go to the climax at one point, and then suddenly you will hear what? Class. I'm hearing loud laughter from some of my brahmacharis. It always happens. You get very excited. Oh, is that it? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You just walk away. But next time when Maharaj actually gives class, he's coming in November, October. You'll hear, he can finish his class. Let's say if the class is for an hour, he can finish his class at half an hour, he can just walk out. 35 minutes, he can walk out. Nothing will be incomplete. 40 minutes, he can walk out. 45. 50. At any point of time, he can walk out, class won't be incomplete. I've observed this a zillion times and I thought, wow, I have observed a phenomenon here. And I saw some of the brahmacharis coming and telling me the same thing. I'm like, okay, looks like that's not my realization. How many of you felt that way? Once I was sitting and hearing the class and Maharaj was speaking, he looking at the clock and he's like continuing again. And I was thinking every single time he's looking, he can actually walk out at that time. Still it won't be incomplete. And I've personally heard many of Maharaj's God brothers glorifying about Maharaj's class. I remember once I brought one of my contact, again during Spiritual Seekers Days. One contact who I got acquainted, and he came in to the class, and the whole class, it was so funny, everyone was laughing. And I was also laughing, and he was sitting there looking around, and he said, why do you guys laugh so much? We are hearing Maharaj's class. And then I gave him, well, you can start hearing these lectures. He's an initiated disciple now. So, Maharaj actually teaches us how we can actually take something which is timeless, put into practice now, and his lectures will be timeless. I remember hearing about consumerism 17, 18 years ago, and I used to think, what has this got to do with Krishna? I used to think like that. Maharaj will speak about simple living. Maharaj will speak about we need to maintain work-life balance. Maharaj will speak about so many things, and I used to wonder, how is this relevant to all of us? So we are very fortunate to have come in contact with Maharaj. We are very fortunate to get his personal time, and we need to make every effort to come and hear from Maharaj in person as much as possible, especially when Maharaj graces Sydney by his presence. I'll just finish with one point. Often we have this confusion about is coming to temple and worshipping Shri Radha Gopinath in the temple, is it the same as doing deity worship in home? Do any of you have that dilemma sometimes? Or at least, do you get that confusion sometimes? Instead of going to temple, I can just sit in home and worship. How many of you had that? Have that? Everyone is lying. Maharaj said something interesting about worshipping in home and worshipping in temple. This is like going back, like maybe the lecture maybe like 20 years old. He was giving this class in Perth. And Maharaj says that the deities, they reciprocate based on our commitment to serve them. In temple, 7 offerings go on every single day, non-stop. Rain, hail, shine, pandemic. That's like an extreme example. Total lockdown. Still, Krishna keeps on enjoying, accepting the offerings, accepting aratis and everything. Whereas in home, whenever you may have some standard, but then you'll wake up Krishna also. Whenever you feel like eating, you'll cook something, offer. So in home, worship is there, but in temple, worship is there simply for the pleasure of their lordships only. So he said, because the level of commitment here is more, Maharaj said the amount of reciprocation you will receive here is also more, and to get the same amount of reciprocation in home, he said it's very difficult. When I heard that, it made a lot of sense to me. I was staying outside and I was thinking, yep, that makes a lot of sense. And later on I actually came across a verse in Bhagavatam that says, and Prabhupada explains in the purport also, whatever activity that you do, devotional activity that you do in home, if you do the same activity in the temple, you will get 1,000 times more the benefit, like that. I just thought I'll share this point with you. It's a good meditation for us to have, good gratitude for us to have. We were talking on humility. One devotee was actually asking, how can we cultivate humility? I was saying, quoting Radhanath Maharaj, I'll finish with this point. Radhanath Maharaj says, to become humble, we have to first feel grateful for what we have actually got. And when we understand our unworthiness to actually receive, to have received what we have actually got, then we'll naturally feel humble. I actually don't deserve it, but I have received it. And then you look at other people who are not as fortunate enough as we are, and we feel compassionate for them. So he said, this is how it's connected. And I was telling the devotee, to feel humble is difficult. To feel grateful is relatively easy. Correct? We can feel grateful for the prasad, grateful for everything. Remaining humble is difficult. But at least if we actively cultivate this mode of gratitude, one day we will become humble easily. His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Now we are going to see a, not now, later, plan change. Skipping. Oh, did I take more time? Sorry. Now I feel guilty, please. Okay, next. Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotarhata Shishimad, His Divine Grace Abhay Charanara Vindu Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Gopinath Bhagwan ki jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Shri Shri Gauranitai ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Let's start with Mangalacharan. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum.
How very expert you are in giving us, the conditioned souls, the chance to requalify ourselves to serve Shri Shri Radha Krishna. I feel very fortunate to have come in contact with Bhakti Yoga through your preaching mission. While on this process of Bhakti Yoga, I realized how so many impurities like false ego, false pride, my deterrent to serve other devotees are in me. If I myself try to assess, I don't think I will be able to purify myself, but only one thing that gives me the positivity and hope is the mercy of you, Gurudev. I remember your subtle instruction that we need to work in order to please Krishna, thinking how Krishna will be pleased and not how we feel satisfied with the results. With this prayer, I pray and beg to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda to strengthen my spiritual intelligence so that I can follow your instructions properly and hopefully be of use to your preaching mission. Your Honor, this is Bhavish.
The next devotee has a really special name. She is very organized and enthusiastic when it comes to serving Radha Gopinath. She is always observing and learning from other devotees. Radhashtami Mataji, can you please read your offering?
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj. Please accept this daughter's humble obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Gauranga. All glories to you, Guru Maharaj. Om Ajnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Takshurum Militamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guru Maharaj, I was born in the darkest ignorance and have been crawling in this dark without even knowing there is sunshine on the other side. And you, my spiritual master, opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. Please allow me to glorify you and humbly pray to you on your Vyasa Puja. My eternal Father, with your mercy, we have been sincerely guided by our Siksha Gurus, Harinam Prabhu and Gopi Premamurtha Mataji. I am getting a good support and motivation from my Prabhu and son to practice Krishna consciousness. By your mercy, I am able to perform my sadhana regularly. You have got me the mercy of Srimati Radha Rani to enable me to cook boha for the Lord and honor prasadam every day. You gave me an opportunity to prepare prasad for you, which you liked and appreciated. You have engaged me in different processes of devotional service. You have been guiding me through your lectures and see your blessings even in my dealings and issues in office, which otherwise would drain me completely and distract my focus from devotional service. I see your mercy is endless. I would like to recollect some past times, Maharaj. Whenever I fall and whenever I associate with material energy, I see you guiding me in my dreams and through the lectures. Just wanted to share one instance, like whenever I was more attached to the mobile phones, trying to watch something, and when I got distracted, I remember nothing worked out. But when I kept your picture as my mobile wallpaper, I remember I never dared to open any of the other distracting things. So whenever things are related to you, I see things flowing very easily, Guru Maharaj. I see your mercy is endless. I have no idea how many births I have taken, but with the knowledge you have given me so far, I realize that it is my impurities and desires which are still keeping me here and away from Lord Krishna. On my own, I can never overcome these material desires, but only by holding on to your lotus feet, I can go across. I have zero qualification to be your spiritual daughter. It is only by your grace I have been given this precious seed of bhakti. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakura has said, if we take shelter of the lotus feet of the spiritual master, we can become free from illusion, fear and distress. If we wholeheartedly beg for your mercy without any deceit, then the spiritual master bestows all auspicious upon us. Please give me that benediction, Guru Maharaj. I should wholeheartedly serve you without any deceitness. Guru Maharaj, my mind spins and bewilders me always, disabling me to sincerely practice devotional service. On this auspicious day, I beg for your mercy to free me from the illusions and struggles my mind puts me in, so that I can sincerely and heartfully follow your instructions. I humbly pray to you that I voluntarily perform my services, putting my heart onto it, and it should not be ever for my personal favor or my personal honor. Please help me to refrain from material desires. Please enlighten me to see Krishna's blessing and plan in every happenings. I slowly understand that I'm always absorbed in my own routines, that I miss to understand the problems others go through. Please help me to develop compassion and support for others, thereby making me a part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Please guide us sincerely to practice Krishna consciousness and always engage in our service and to pass on this legacy to next generation. On this auspicious day, I pray to the Lord to give you good health. Hare Krishna. Your humble servant, Radhashtami Devi Dasi.
have a devotee who's expert in baking cake and who enjoys decoration service. She is always supporting her family in their book distribution. Please welcome Kamala Prasad Mataji to read her offering.
Hare Krishna, dear Gurudev. Happy Vyasa Puja Day. All goes to you on this special occasion, and all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Gurudev, thank you so much for your continuous guidance, support, mercy, and love that you shower through your lectures, books, and personal darshan. You always make me feel that I'm doing so much service. Yet, I know that it's all your mercy and fatherly love, because I know I barely do any service at all. Gurudev, after the pandemic, now that we are getting back to some sort of normalcy, I am consciously and actively trying to help my family, my Prabhu Radhika Prasad, my mom, Brother Prasad Devidasi, and my daughter Meera, with reaching out to people, doing door-to-door book distribution, setting up bookstores every week at festivals and shopping centers. With your empowerment and your mercy, Gurudev, we have distributed more than 10,000 books so far. Would like to make a special mention to our god sister, Radha Madhupati Mataji, who helps us with door-to-door book distribution nearly every week. In fact, Gurudev, she encouraged us to start door-to-door book distribution. And we are so grateful to have her association every week. So thank you, Mataji. I pray that you continue to empower us, Gurudev, to keep maintaining forward by assisting you in your mission to please your beloved spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Also, just this morning, we had in a lecture that on your way to Barsana Temple in Auckland, you had a near-miss road accident. So Gurudev, I sincerely pray to Lord Narasimhadev to keep you safe and remove all your obstacles in the path of assisting this world to raise its consciousness. Your humble daughter, Kamala Prasad Devidasi.
Up next, we have a very special devotee. From what I was told, he gives massages to Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj only takes massages from Shravananda Prabhu. So I would like to call up Shravananda Prabhu to actually present his offering to Gurudev.
नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते देवामृत स्वामी इति नमीने प्रचार पूर्व दक्षिण च भक्तचर प्रवीणते पराथतापि करुणमय यस्य चर्वचत नमः. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories at your lotus feet. On the auspicious day of your Vyasa Puja, I'm so happy that you give me an initiation. Right? I even remember like 10 years back, the first thing I was just thinking that Guru Maharaj, I don't feel like I'm ready. And he gave an example that you only go to hospital when you are sick. So Guru Maharaj always like try to explain the topmost tattva with such a humor, such a humility. And Srila Prabhupada always used to give an example of an humility. So the person who does not hanker for recognition. And I saw the same thing in Guru Maharaj. So in spite of like he's preaching for more than 5 decades, he never aspired for any recognition. He's always very humble. So whether he's talking to a child or he's talking to a, like for example, even a 60 years old, he knows how to connect with that person. And Guru Maharaj, like basically the way he teaches, like he can even tell us the topmost tattva with so much ease that anybody can relate it. So many examples he gives. And the thing is, he can relate. Like for example, when he talks about many devotees from India, he knows about cricket. So even gave a class on cricket consciousness and how to come out of it. So Guru Maharaj can really, like for example, relate to each and everything over there as such. And whenever I pray, right, Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yene Tashme Shri Guruve Nama. So I then keep on reminding myself that you had bring us, not only me, but countless soul out of the ignorance with the light of knowledge you had spread in the, you had spread all over the world. So on this auspicious day, like I pray for your long and healthy life. He always, like the thing is, Guru Maharaj don't even talk about the spiritual thing, but he's also really worried about our well-being. He also gives us a health tips, what you should do when you're 30s, 40s and like that. He even talks about your family. And I'm so happy, like Guru Maharaj, when he went to Mayapur, he even meet our family. And he's like, for example, so on this auspicious day, I just pray to Lord Radha Gopinath, right, basically for your long life, and bless us that I can be your worthy son. Hare Krishna.
Next, we have a devotee who has effortlessly distributed hundreds of books during various Sankirtan trips. I'd like to invite Bhava Vibhushana Prabhu to come read his offering.
Hare Krishna. So this year, after quite some time, after many years, we got an opportunity to go to India. And after many years, I was traveling on an airplane. And we were seated in the airplane. I had Sriman Nrsimha Prabhu seated on one side of me, Kamsari Sena Prabhu on the other side. And going, it was very cramped up. And I was looking all around in the airplane, and I saw everyone had a TV screen on, and everyone's watching different movies in different screens. So then I quickly turned back, okay, focus, this is all Maya. And then I opened up my bag, I took out my Chaitanya Charitamrita to read. And then I started reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I was enjoying, relishing. I was just absorbing myself. And then 5 minutes later, a baby starts crying right nearby, very loudly. And I'm finding it hard to concentrate. And then later on, their people, they come with the lunch for everyone to serve. And then most people, naturally, they pick non-veg and they're eating meat. So while I was going through this airplane journey, it was like a 10-hour flight to India. And I've found out that actually going on an airplane is not such a fun thing, actually. Actually, it's a big austerity. And as we were going on the plane, I was thinking of Guru Maharaj, that actually, for me, after, so many years, I'm just going once on an airplane. But Gurudev, every year, he has to travel, dozens of time on planes for traveling and preaching. How much austerity must he be taking? And I'm, young in my 20s. And he's in his 70s. And for me, I have 2 devotees seated right next to me.
both sides protecting me, from my, but for Guru Maharaj's case, most of the time he travels alone. Most of the time he doesn't have a personal servant or anyone traveling with him. So he has to sit next to a karmi for 8 hours, 10 hours, and that karmi will be watching, movies right next to him. That karmi will be eating meat, doing all sorts of things right next to him. Guru Maharaj has to tolerate all that. Seated just in one seat for 8, 10 hours at such an elderly age, in his 70s. So as we're going on the plane, I was thinking of Guru Maharaj that actually he takes a lot of austerity, and we don't realize it until we put ourselves in that situation. Although, we feel some austerity in our 20s, imagine how much pain and austerities must he feel when he's in his 70s. And then when you get off the plane, when you arrive in India, then you have to go through jet lag, the time difference. And it affects your sleep, it affects eating, digestion, so many problems are there. So for us, there is so much problems, in our 20s and 30s, then we can't imagine how much pain and bodily trouble must Guru Maharaj be facing in his 70s. So like that, I was getting some appreciation, of how much pain and sufferings Guru Maharaj takes voluntarily to travel around the globe, to preach and to push forward Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. And I was remembering one verse by Sukadeva Goswami. He says in the 8th canto, in regard to Lord Shiva, so in 8th canto we have the churning of the milk ocean, as the demigods and the demons, they're churning the milk ocean. The hala hala poison comes up. And this poison is spreading all around the universe. And it's deadly poison. And it's fatal for all the living entities in the universe. So the demigods, they go and approach Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva, he voluntarily accepts to drink all the poison himself for the benefit of all the living entities in the universe. So at this stage, Sukadeva Goswami, he glorifies Lord Shiva by saying that this is the nature of all great saintly personalities. It is the nature of all great saintly personalities that they voluntarily take up suffering upon themselves to mitigate the suffering of others. So just like Lord Shiva, he voluntarily accepted suffering on himself by drinking poison to mitigate the suffering of other living entities. In the same way, we're seeing Guru Maharaj also exemplifying that, taking up so much austerity, so much pains and sufferings on himself, simply not for his own sake, but simply to help and benefit others, simply to mitigate the suffering of other conditioned souls around the world. And if we think about it, Guru Maharaj has done so much service. He's in his 70s. He's been preaching and traveling for the last 50 years. So already to push forward Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, he has preached and distributed books, made so many devotees in every single corner of the world. So one would think, after preaching and doing outreach for more than 50 years, one would take rest and, stay in one place. But still, no, Guru Maharaj, he's still not satisfied. He's still so greedy for service, like Ghanshyam Prabhu was saying. When we chant Hare Krishna, we're begging Shri Shri Radha Gopinath to please engage us in their service. But when we chant, we don't think that. We just think, how can we finish quickly? But we can see with Guru Maharaj that when he actually chants, he's actually begging for service. And we can see that with his practical action. Although he has already done so much for Srila Prabhupada, risking his life in the communist countries, underground. KGB were chasing him. He was distributing books, smuggling books into the communist countries. So he's already done so much for Srila Prabhupada, but still he's feeling that I haven't done enough, still even in his 70s. Although he has every reason to just sit in one place, just write books, give classes, still he continuously keeps on traveling and preaching. And Srila Prabhupada explains this in 3rd canto. Prabhupada says that generally when we look in ordinary life, generally while everyone is young, they will work very hard. But when they become old, they will take retirement. And then they will relax and take it easy. But Prabhupada says in spiritual life, this is not the case. In spiritual life, it's the opposite. While one is young and strong, one works hard in Krishna service, but one's enthusiasm and vigor to do service doesn't reduce when they go into old age. And Prabhupada says, for devotees, there is no question of retirement. They just continue on doing service eternally. And their vigor and enthusiasm to do service just eternally increases more and more and more. And we can see that with the practical example of Gurudev, that although he has done so much service, in the last 50 years, still he keeps on going. Despite all challenges, all austerity, he keeps on going, traveling around the world, preaching, and pushing forward Srila Prabhupada's movement. So as an ideal leader, he's always leading from the front. And particularly, Guru Maharaj, as we all know, he especially stresses preaching to the local people in Western countries, because he sees them as more in need of mercy, as suffering more and requiring more attention. Just like a hospital, different patients, they will come to the hospital. Someone will come saying, oh, I have a headache. Someone will come saying, I broke my arm. Another person will come saying, oh, I have fever. But then another person will come saying, I just had a car crash, I had, and he will be bleeding, from his head. So the doctor, he has to choose who to attend to first. So naturally the doctor will go and give his mercy and look after the person who is suffering more, who is more in need. He will naturally go for the person who was just in a car crash. Because the person having a headache, person having a fever, he can wait. His condition is not so bad. So Guru Maharaj's mood is like that. He sees the local people in Western countries, they are in need of more mercy. Because for us who grew up in India or neighboring countries, we grew up in some pious upbringing. We have all heard of Krishna as we grew up. We all heard of chanting, so on and so forth. So we actually have some pious background. But for the local people in Western countries, they have literally no pious background, no spiritual assets at all. And they're more engaged in sinful activities. So they're suffering a lot more. And their destination is more, more bad if you think about it comparatively. So that's why Guru Maharaj, he always feels more compassion for them. But at the same time, he says that actually it's a very more difficult task to reach out to them, to the local people. Just like to operate on a person who's having a headache, all you have to do is just give them Panadol. Okay, then they're gone. Job done, easy. Very nice. But if someone comes, car crash, this problem, that problem, then it will take a lot of time and effort, a lot of patience and endeavor is required by the doctor to help that person who's just been in a car crash. So if someone just wants an easy job, quick job, he will just go for the patient who has a headache. Just prescribe Panadol, okay, done. My job is finished. But if someone is genuinely compassionate, he will exercise his patience, tolerance, and push himself to help the person who's actually needing more help. So Guru Maharaj's mood is like that. So that's why he's always pushing for Western outreach in Western countries. And as Mandra Ghosh Prabhu was saying, it requires a lot of patience and tolerance from our sides as preachers to bring them up in Krishna consciousness. As Guru Maharaj was advising Mandra Ghosh Prabhu, that we need to be patient in Western outreach. And Guru Maharaj was saying it took him 25 years to get the loft preaching programs going. So Guru Maharaj is very, very compassionate. And one verse I was reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita Prabhupada, he is explaining about Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya, before Mahaprabhu descended, he was looking around, he was seeing everyone just in Maya. And he was feeling so compassionate. And that's when he started praying to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that please appear, apart from you, I don't see how anyone can help deliver all these fallen conditioned souls. So in that purport, in Adi Leela, Prabhupada writes that this is the quality of an Acharya. An Acharya is one who feels compassion upon the suffering of other fallen conditioned souls. And Prabhupada writes, it is the duty of every Acharya to constantly think and meditate of newer and newer ways of how to bring people closer to Krishna's lotus feet. So we can very clearly see Gurudev exemplifying these qualities of an Acharya. He's always outpouring so much compassion and he's always thinking and meditating of newer ways to reach out to the local people in Western countries. He gives so many innovative topics and seminars in universities, in Western outreach centers, to help the local people, slowly come up in Krishna consciousness. And to do this, he, as we're explaining, he has to tolerate so much hardship. But he's very, very compassionate, and as Ghanshyam Prabhu was saying, he's famous all around ISKCON for his innovative preaching. For example, a few years ago, Bhagavad Ashray Prabhu, his Prabhupada disciple, he was here in Sydney, and he saw me and he asked me, what is your name? I told him my name. Then he asked me, who is your spiritual master? And I told him, okay, my spiritual master is His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj. Then he said, oh, Devamrita Maharaj, then you must be a preacher, right? Like that he asked me. And I said, yes, Prabhu, I distribute books. So this is Guru Maharaj's glory. He's known all around the ISKCON world for his preaching, for his emphasis and inspiration for distributing books and preaching in the Western countries. So if you look all around the world, all of his disciples, they'll all be preaching in some form. That's what Guru Maharaj is always emphasizing. His heart is full of compassion, and he can't stand to see the suffering of the fallen conditioned souls. So he himself leads from the front and preaches, and he also inspires all of his disciples and followers to also take lead and to also go out, distribute books, and preach. One time I was serving Guru Maharaj his breakfast at Pratapana Prabhu's place, and Guru Maharaj was taking breakfast with Pratapana Prabhu, and they were discussing, and Pratapana Prabhu was saying that previously, during their time, the ISKCON movement was mainly full of devotees from the Western world, and there was just a few handful of Indian devotees, like Gopal Krishna Maharaj, just a few Indian devotees, but mainly it was Western devotees. But then Pratapana Prabhu was explaining, now if we look in ISKCON, it's mainly more of an Indian congregation we see all around the world. And then Guru Maharaj, he replied back to Pratapana Prabhu and said, yes, that is true. Now it is the responsibility of all the Indian congregation all around the world to take charge of Srila Prabhupada's movement and to spread Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement all around the world. And then Guru Maharaj, he looks at me and Jitendra Prabhu, then he asks us, so are you boys ready to take over the world? Are you boys ready to preach and continue on the legacy? We'll be leaving soon. Are you guys ready? Then we said, yes, Guru Maharaj, with your blessings, we will take responsibility. So this is the mood of Guru Maharaj. He's always meditating on how to push forward Prabhupada's movement. And especially he likes book distribution, as many devotees have mentioned. As Ghanshyam Prabhu is saying, whenever you send a Sankirtan email, he always replies back immediately. And I try and send some pictures of persons who have taken books from us. And he's always very happy to see these pictures. And he especially takes note of persons who generally wouldn't take books. For example, one time I was sending him a lot of pictures of Aboriginal people buying Srila Prabhupada's books and holding Srila Prabhupada's books in the hand. And Guru Maharaj specifically took note of that and was very happy to see Aboriginals, buying Srila Prabhupada's books. Another time I was sharing a lot of pictures of very old people buying sets of Srila Prabhupada's books. Elderly Australian people in their 70s and 80s, buying Srila Prabhupada's books. And again, he was very happy to see these people who one would not think, to buy, generally you would think the younger people, they would be more open, they would buy. One would not expect, a 78-year-old Australian man or lady to buy these books. And he was very happy, and he always replies back with a message which will inspire us to continue on distributing these books. So on this day, I'm very grateful to have such an amazing spiritual father who's always leading from the front, leading by example so fearlessly, so selflessly. And I pray that in a small way I can also follow in his footsteps. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Jaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
It looks like everyone's running out of space to sit up the back. Can everybody just move forward a little?
say that Prasadam line is going to be that way, sir.
No. Do you need the stand? Azoba. Azoba. Azoba.
I would now like to call out a devotee that is very dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and serves his mission despite her elderly age. She goes out every week on book distribution. As my grandma, she is a great inspiration to me and displays great compassion and determination. Varda Prasad Devi Dasi, can you please come to read your offering?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear Gurudev. Happy Vyasa Puja to you. Please accept my humble obeisance. Thank you so much for agreeing to be my spiritual father. With your mercy, I started book distribution 7 years ago. It makes me so happy going on the streets, talking to people, and giving them Krishna's love in the form of books. With your blessings, I have been able to distribute more than 3,000 books so far this year. I feel so fortunate that I can help you with spreading Srila Prabhupada's message. I pray to you to give me strength and guidance so I can continue to save Gauranitai and distribute Srila Prabhupada's books till last day of my life. I pray to Narasimhadev to keep you in good health so you can continue preaching around the world. Your humble servant, Varda Prasad Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Next up, we have a devotee who is expert in dressing the deities and makes Radha Gopinath shine brighter with his expertise. Can Sriman Narasimha Prabhu please come and read his offering?
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to your auspicious day of appearance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This year I've been reflecting on your extraordinary desire to please Srila Prabhupada, quite often in the most trying and pressurizing situations. The thought was sparked earlier on when the unfortunate conflict in Eastern Europe began. Being an active preacher in that region, you naturally have thousands of devotees there who seek inspiration and shelter in you. I was amazed and thoroughly impressed with your impeccable ability to comfort, have concern for, and guide devotees, and at the same time remain steadfast in completely surrendering to Krishna's plans. Recently, a devotee I've been guiding decided to take your Guru Ashraya. And when he asked me to tell me something about you, the first thing that came to mind were your years behind the Iron Curtain. At the age of just 27 years, you followed the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada by traveling overseas to a foreign land to spread the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. At times you mentioned that Srila Prabhupada had said that he would give the special dust of his lotus feet to those who would preach Krishna consciousness in communist Europe. It reminds me of a quote His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj is known to have said. When your desire to serve is beyond your capacity, yet you act without hesitation, that is the moment empowerment occurs. You sacrificed 8 dangerous years building a foundation which has now flourished into one of the biggest devotional yatras in the world. I remember the stories I've heard you so seldom tell of your challenging times there. I remembered your 4-part East Europe bhajan poem. I recalled the miraculous interventions of Krishna to protect you from the KGB. I remembered the tests of the illusory energy you overcame. I recollected the undercover book distribution. I remembered how, as your ship docked into a port one day, you prayed to Srila Prabhupada, wiped away the tears on your face, put on a wig, and disembarked, not knowing if you would ever make it back alive. Yet in the midst of so much uncertainty and impossibility, you came out successful. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. There is still so much of your glories that we do not know. Srila Prabhupada's books were distributed, the curtain fell, and as we see today, Krishna's devotees have flourished. His Holiness Vishnu Jan Maharaj had once said, whatever you do, try to do something beautiful for Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, your entire life is a veritable offering at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada. The secret, as you mentioned, is to take our service, whether big or small, seriously. When Krishna sees that we are serious about his service, he will give us more service. And in this way, our service opportunity expands. Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for being such a solid and powerful example of Krishna consciousness in my life. All glories to you, your insignificant servant.
This devotee has been putting a smile on my face every week for many years. Can Kamsari Saint Prabhu please come and read his offering to Guru Maharaj?
Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimati Devamrita Swami Nityanamane Prachare Puru Daksham Cha Bhaktachara Pivinata Paratata Pikarunyam Yasya Sarvajate Namaha. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with a torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Srila Prabhupada writes that in this sloka, this sloka gives us the definition of a guru. Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th Canto, Chapter 15, Text 16, purport. One who enlightens his disciple and saves him from rotting in the darkness of ignorance in this mature world is a true guru. In this age of Kali, it is hard to find genuine spiritual guidance. How common is it to find somebody seeking some sort of spirituality, but to end up being misguided by many pseudo-spiritualists, either bombarded by speculations born from their mad minds, or spoon-fed to them by social media. The residents of Kali Yuga remain tightly bound up in material existence, unable to see the path out. As Prahlad Maharaj informs his father,
persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects, cannot understand that the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. In this purport, Prabhupada emphasizes how Prahlad Maharaj did not accept a seminal spiritual master, for such a person is simply absorbed in material affairs. In fact, he states, an actual guru is Shrotriya, one who has heard or received perfect knowledge through parampara, the disciplic succession. We can see that you are an actual guru, for you have thoroughly read and heard from Srila Prabhupada and are vigorously preaching the glories of Sri Krishna as Srila Prabhupada wanted. You have received through the parampara perfect knowledge and you disseminate it as it is. Yet as the bona fide representative, you never take the credit. You repeatedly emphasize the importance of the parampara. You can even see it in your offering to Srila Prabhupada this year. This is a quotation from Guru Maharaj's offering. How much you love Krishna through the parampara, I can't, of course, ever fathom. It reminds me of an incident that I'll never forget. After receiving the Gayatri Mantra, I was about to leave the room, but you stopped me and said, whenever you go on the altar to worship Shri Shri Radha Gopinath, remember you are simply assisting the Guru Parampara. It's a simple instruction, but something I always try to remember during all my services. Whatever I do, remember fills me with joy because I have taken shelter of a bona fide spiritual master who is always giving credit to the Lord and the predecessor acharyas. This spiritual son of yours takes the opportunity on your most glorious Vyasa Puja day to re-offer himself unto your lotus feet. Gurudev, you've opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge and saved me from rotting in material existence by giving me the greatest treasure of devotional service to Krishna. Although you do not take the credit, I know that I am simply a product of your efforts and guidance. Your spiritual son, Kamsari Sen Das.
I think that concludes all our offerings to Guru Maharaj. We'll start Bhoga offering and Kirtan now. If Bhoga offering's ready. Yeah.
The fruit would be fine.
Baba. Yeah. No, there's an offering of the flute, then it's kirtan. I don't know, however long my dad wants it. Yeah.
Just announce it.
Announce
Just
what?
tell everyone that you're going to do that.
Just maybe announce that there'll be a thing on the...
Yeah.
So you're going to show on the projector?
Nah, it's just audio.
Oh, okay.
I forgot who played it. It's fine, just play.
What is the song?
It's just a...
Aditya is trying to play the flute, which is being recorded by...
Hi Krishna. I will be singing Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, so if everyone wants, they can put it on their phone for the lyrics. Ohe Vaishnava Thakura Doyar Sagara Edase Koruna Kori Ohe Vaishnava Thakura Doyar Sagara Edase Koruna Kori Diya Pad Chaya Shodhoya Maya Diya Pad Chaya Shodhoya Maya Tomhara charana dori Tomhara charana dori Chaya begadomi Chaya dosha sodi Chaya guna deho dase Chaya begadomi Chaya dosha sodi Chaya guna deho dase Chaya sat sanga deho amare Chaya sat sanga deho amare বসেছি সঙ্গেরা আসে বসেছি সঙ্গেরা আসে एकाकिया मारा नहीं पायो बाला हरि नाम संकीर्तने एकाकिया मारा नहीं पाया बाला हरि नाम संकीर्तन তুমি কৃপা করি সাধু বিন্দু দিয়া তুমি কৃপা করি সাধু বিন্দু দিয়া ও দেহ কৃষ্ণ নাম ধারণে गुरुदेव देह कृष्ण नाम धारने कृष्णा से तुम्हारा कृष्णा दीते पारो तुम्हारा शक्ति आय छे कृष्णा से तुम्हारा कृष्णा दीते पारो तुम्हारा शक्ति आछे कृष्णा से तुम्हारा आमी तो कंगाला कृष्णा कृष्णा बोली ओ आमी तो कंगाला कृष्णा कृष्णा बोली ओ आमी तो कंगाला कृष्णा कृष्णा बोली आमी तो कंगाला कृष्णा कृष्णा बोली आमी तो कंगाला कृष्णा कृष्णा बोली दही तब पाछे पाछे दाही तब पाछे पाछे गुरुदेव दाही तब पाछे पाछे ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुरा दयार सागरा ए दासे करुणा करी ओ हे वैष्णव ठाकुरा दयार सागरा ए दासे करुणा करी charan dore. Tomar charan dore. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. That's better. Okay, we'll have the Guru Puja, Pushpanjali and then Guru Puja after that. So I would request everyone to stand up and we are going to distribute the petals for the Guru Puja. And, sorry. Go and stand. Yeah. Take it. Not too much, not too much, not too much. It's for everyone. It's for everyone. Yeah, little bit.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, we're going to be starting with the Pushpanjali now. Everyone should be having a handful of flowers petals. So we'll be chanting the pranam mantras of the Guru Parampara and Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. And you'll be repeating after me. After we've done, when we start chanting the Guru Maharaj Pranam Mantra and I chant Esha Pushpanjali, we'll offer the flower petals. We'll be doing this 3 times. So split whatever you have in your hand into 3 We'll be offering it 3 different times. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapita Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Ravanata Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Anvitamscha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Devamrita Swami Iti Namine Prachare Purva Daksham Cha Bhaktachara Pravinata Parata Tapi Karunyam Yasya Sarve Chate Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shiva Shabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojvala Premadya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinatarine Rupanuga Viruda Apasiddhanta Dvanta Harine Nama Gaura Kishoraya Shakshad Vairagya Murtaye Vipalamba Rasambode Padambujaya Te Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchit Ananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate Gaur Avirbhava Bhumestvam Nirdeshta Sajjana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannataya Te Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Maha Vadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Godatishe Namaha Panchatattva Atmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jayatam Surato Pango Mama Manda Matirgati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radha Madana Mohano Divya Vindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimad Ratnangara Simhasanasto Srimad Radha Shila Govinda Devo Prastalibi Sevyamano Smarami Shriman Rasa Rasarambi Vamsivata Tatastitaha Karshan Venu Swaner Gopir Gopinatha Shreyastunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So now we'll be offering the flowers. I'll be chanting Guru Maharaj's Pranam Mantra. Please repeat after me. When I say Esha Pushpanjali, please come forward and offer the flower petals. You can offer from where you are if you can't come this close as well. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Devamrita Swami Iti Namine Prachare Purva Daksham Cha Bhaktachara Pravinata Pararta Kapi Karunyam Yasya Sarve Chate Namaha Esha Pushpanjali His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj Vyasa Puja Maha Mahotsav ki Jai. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Devamrita Swami Iti Namine Prachare Purva Daksham Cha Bhaktachara Pravinata Paraatatapi Karunyam Yasya Sarve Chate Namaha Esha Pushpanjali. His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj Vyasa Puja Mahamotsav ki. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Devamrita Swami Iti Namine Prachare Purva Daksham Cha Bhaktachara Pravinata Paraatatapi Karunyam Yasya Sarve Chate Namaha Esha Pushpanjali. His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj Vyasa Puja Titi Mahamotsav ki. Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva 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 Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bandhani Sabadana Mate Bandhani Sabadana Jahara prasade bhai e bhagatoriya jai Jahara prasade bhai e bhagatoriya jai কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তির হয় যাহা হইতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তির হয় যাহা হইতে গুরুমুখা পদ্মাবক্যা চিতে তে করিয়ায় ক্যা গুরুমুখা পদ্মাবক্যা চিতে তে করিয়ায় ক্যা আর না করি হো মানে আশা আর না করি হো মানে আশা শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতি এসে উত্তমাগতি শ্রী গুরু চরণে রতি এসে উত্তমাগতি जय प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा जय प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा प्रभुदान दिलों के जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चकुदान दिलो जे जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद गाय जहाँ रचरित वेद गाय जहाँ रचरित श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनर बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनर बंधु लोके न लोके राजीवाना लोके न लोके राजीवाना प्रभु गोरो दया देह मोरे पादा छाया प्रभु गोरो दया देह मोरे पादा छाया प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पाद छाया प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरे पाद छाया bejas gusu tribhuvana. O bejas gusu tribhuvana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Srila Gurudev. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Vedanta. Oh, Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurava Nirvishesha Shunnavade Pasata Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Godadharu Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Godadharu Shivasari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Everyone, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Everyone, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Gaura Gaura, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaura Gaura, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaura Gaura, louder! Woohoo! Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Gaura Gaura. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone, hey, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Gaura Gaura. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everyone, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Oh Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bo. Gaur, Gaur, Hari. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gaur, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bo. Jayo, Jayo, Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Prabhupada. Jayo, Jayo, Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Prabhupada.
Devam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotar Hatha Shishimad His Divine Grace Abhay Sharanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Devam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotar Hatha Shishimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवाशादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी गो श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की व्रज भूमि वृंदावन धाम की नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी की तुलसी महारानी की समवेद गौर भक्त वृंद की युगधर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj Vyasa Puja Mahamahotsav ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We thank everyone for coming and attending this most auspicious Vyasa Puja festival of His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj. His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj ki. So now we have come to the penultimate part of this evening. We are going to sing Narsinga prayers now, and after that may we request everyone to please stand up and make a queue, and you walk outside the door right next to the altar, and we'll be starting to serve the prasadam outside. But first, we'll actually sing the Narsinga prayers. We also want to take this opportunity to thank all the disciples, Siksha disciples, Diksha disciples of His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj for organizing this beautiful festival in glorification of Maharaj, as well as for all of our benefit. We would want to host this beautiful festival year after year. His Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj Vyasa Puja Mahamahotsav ki.
Namaste Narashingaya. Namaste Narashingaya. Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. I would request Hare Krishna. I would request everyone to be seated for some time. We have, as you know, it's wet outside. We can't have prasadam in the car park, so we have to have some discipline to have the prasadam. So we request all the kids and the Matajis to form the line from here, and then once the line continues on, all Prabhus can join in as well, and then we'll have some orderly fashion having prasadam into the foyer or into the front area. If you want to stand up and have prasadam, take your shoes and go into the car park and have the prasadam if it is not raining. So we would request every one of you to have the bit of a cooperation from every one of you. Where's Meera? The gift and the conclude. Very important thing is, please do not use the front door to go out, because there is no space and there is nothing you can do much out there, because devotees are having prasadam. Unless you want to go out, don't use the front door. I'll use the one.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Haribol.
One announcement. Can you tell them that there is a gift for the family?
Yes, I have. Yeah. On behalf of Devamrita Swami Maharaj's disciples, we sincerely thank you all for taking your time out to come and celebrate Guru Maharaj's Vyasa Puja. After the you can all proceed to the Prasadam feast, and on your way out, please collect a gift as a token of our appreciation for coming down on this special day. One per family. Again, we are very grateful for for giving us your association. Haribol.
How do you write it and stuff it all out?
Otherwise, I'm just going to talk.
Kirtan. Yeah, relax.
Just be there next to me. You guys will meet later. Hare Krishna Mahamantra for 15 minutes. Yes, you.
The one we learned at the beginning, that one?
First Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you almost only one Mahamantra. Upper is still. Upper is still.
Yeah?
No, that Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you forgot?
Yes, I remember. In this one?
Not Namadhrastakam one. Yeah, that one. Why you being so up?
You told me to take a scale up. Here, right?
Yeah, just wait, hurry up.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,